This 8-channel NVR cost me a grand total of 5 squid. It's about, what, $7, give or take. And on the side, this one says, no power. I'll be the judge of that. So, 6 months ago, I buy all of these. 15 NVRs, 8 DVRs, 115 squid. I know.
Don't mind if I do!
A week later, a box like this arrives. Inside, we got this bad boy. You know what I did next? I stuck it on a box where I forgot it for about 6 months.
Nice.
Then, the other night, I'm sat eating my tea, and my dad says he's thinking of upgrading his DVR system to an NVR system, but he needs to find an NVR. And I've got this bad boy. Don't know if it's any good. After doing some research, turns out it's a monster. It supports 32 megapixel cameras and believe 8K resolution. Shit the bed. And new, they're about 400-500 quid, so I suppose we better fix it, haven't we? So let's get this undone, and we'll get this one undone, and we'll do a tactical lid inspection and see what we're working with. Lid looks sweet. Power is being plugged in, Bosch, into this power supply here. Then we'll get the meter and power it on the wall and see what we're cooking with. So let's pop it into voltage DC. That'll do the job nicely. I'll put this here so you can see it, and switch her on, and we'll check our 12 volt rails and we'll check our 48 volt rail. So we are not getting any 48 here. Let's try the 12 volt side over here. And we are getting absolutely nothing here as well. So the power supply is as flat as a witch's dick, or whatever that saying is. It looks like we're going to need a new one of these power supplies. But what is it, a Delta, whatever model it is, or that you can get the KSA ones. I know what you're thinking, why don't you just fix that? It's not that kind of movie. These power supplies, when they go bang, they go bang. In fact, I'll show you. I had running with these before, so probably about a year ago, a guy sold me about 5 of them. He said, oh, it's just a diode that goes on them. And opened them up. Pretty much sure everything but diodes went bang in it, so... yeah, they're not worth replacing. They're not worth fixing. So you may as well just get a new one. But I'll open it up and show you, just for the sake of it. So we'll have one screw here, one on this side, and it's the same on the other side. And then you can whip the top case off, and we can unscrew the board. So that resistor down there, I barely even know her. Yeah, he's gone bang. This one down here on the left, he's also gone bang. If I zoom in, you'll see they always get a big hole in the side of them. There you go. Lovely. That fuse there, gone bang. I don't know what that is. Someone may have taken a sheet on the board. This resistor here, gone bang. You may be spotting a trend. This one's gone bang, probably taking out that diode, or maybe the diode took that out. There's actually a diode gone bad, surprising. All of these have gone bang, as you can see. We'll get a closer look. There we go. Bang, boom, and Bosch. They've all shit themselves. Let's see how this diode's doing. As you can see, it's not the diodes that go bang in these. Right, we'll have a goose on the sideboard. So this guy here, he always goes bang. Usually you get a crack or like a line and it'll short all these capacitors at the top, or some of them. There you go. That means that chip's blown as well. Yeah, so when these go bang, usually around the front side here, like third pin from the right, that's where you get like a crack. It looks like there's a little mark there. Look at that, that's holier than your old church shoes. You know, you can get the tweezers inside the chip. Resistor, gone bang, resistor, gone bang, or 0 ohm fuse, resistor, whatever. You know, you're getting the point. You've spotted the trend. All the resistors seem to go bang. Also, you thought it was done. These bad boys, I think they're bloody MOSFETs or whatever. These are shorted, look. And last time I stripped off the power supply, these were still shorted afterwards. And they're an absolute nightmare because it's on that big bloody heatsink and you can't get into there, like unscrew them or anything, so you'd probably have to take the heatsink off, and then you need to put thermal paste on the back. It's easier to just buy another bloody power supply. It's the same with all of these. And I said to the guy, you know, it wasn't a diode, it was like 40 components. He said, oh well, try the KSA ones, they're a lot easier. Easier, he says. He didn't repair them, but yeah, easier. And yeah, look at that. I'm pretty sure these are worse, so I won't be touching them. Anyway, £40 later and a trip from China.
What's up, mate?
We've got this bad boy, so we'll get it nailed in and we can get to testing. Just rub this lead off the kettle, plug that in there. Power it on. Got our red light, lovely, but it sounds like a Boeing 747. We did get a flash down here on the Ethernet port, so we should get a boot. Lovely. Get in. I've slung the HDMI in like that. Mouse is already in. We've got a little glow on the screen, so it's trying to connect, but it's not displaying, which could be because the box is like 900k resolution, so it might be too high for the monitor. So what we can do is we'll switch to the VGA and see if we get anything from that. VGA is indeed in. And we are getting, so usually when I get this, we'll try and freeze on it and take a picture or whatever. Current input timing is not supported on this monitor display, so yeah, we're getting a resolution issue, so we're going to have to reset the box most likely, and then it'll connect. So down here we've got the UART port. We could plug the programmer in, but what I'm thinking is, this guy here looks exactly like when the reset button goes. So what if I just solder a reset button on, hold it in, and see if it resets the box? And if it goes bang, we just make sure we record it, don't we? So if we look on this donor board here, Bosch, we've got a reset button. Looks exactly the same. Pins in the same place, right near the CMOS battery. So what could go wrong? Also marked similar, was it SW2? The other one's SW1, so what's that, switch 1, switch 2? Let's see what happens. So let's whip this guy off here, like that. Flick this battery out of here so it doesn't get too hot. Then what we can do is plop this in here, a little bit of flux, and we'll just solder it on. Now we should get a connection here, lovely, and we should get a connection here, lovely. Then when we hold the button in and touch the two probes on each side, we should get a connection through the button. Nice, and it should be the same on this side. Sweet as. Come in with some 99.9% IPA, give it a little clean up, and then we can see if it'll reset the box. Hopefully, you know, I'm not going to put my finger on it and do it. Pause. We'll use a spudger or whatever they're called. Smudger, spludger. Right, let's do a safety squint and we'll hold this in. See if it does anything. You've got to hold it in for about 9 weeks. It's usually about 40 seconds, something like that. And we'll see if it resets the box. Right, keep slipping off, so I'm going in with my finger. Nope, it's not doing anything, so still getting this, and it's not resetting, so maybe switch 2 isn't for resetting the password. And there isn't a switch 1, so I plugged her into the Sony TV. HDMI wasn't long enough, so I've had to put the box like this, shut your face. And when I power it on, for a brief, like, few seconds, we get this. So, again, and then it just vanishes. So, even the resolution is too high for the bloody TV. Like, what's going on? Look, it just says HD recorder, and nothing's connecting. Pooning the ass. So, looks like we're going the boring way through the UART port. So, let's find our ground pin, and then we can plug our programmer in and see if we can reset it through that. Red goes to ground, RX and TX, you know, they're in order. We've gone to the old Hikvision website. There's our box. So we'll scroll down, get the old firmware downloaded, like that. Chuck it in the TFTPD folder, digicap, that's the folder, file. Now we've connected the box via PuTTY and broken the U-boot. I'm going to type in set NV update and hit enter, and that is bad news, because what that means is it's on the latest firmware on the new boxes, and they blocked the UART port to stop us programming and fixing the boxes. Pain in the arse. So we can't remove the password, or even if it was bricked, we couldn't unbrick it this way. Hikvision are sausages if you're posh at a barbecue. I have a spare 50-inch plasma here that someone gave me, so I'm going to test it on that. And we are getting this, which doesn't look like a resolution issue, because if you look at the mouse, it's also not responding. So I've just whipped out the cheat code for a laugh. You know, chips down here, usual suspects getting hot, that's all normal. But over on the right hand side over here, what's that? I mean, the thermal camera's showing it's registered 154 or something like that. What's that? 155 Celsius. Like, that is scorching. So what I do is get this old plastic spudger, because the thermal camera is not fancy pants one, does the job. It's not as accurate, even though it's got a micro lens on it. We do there, and we can see our spudger's cold, and the tip of it is right there on that, whatever it is. That's the guy that's getting hot. Little 3407 transistor, and he's scorching it. To be honest, it looks like he's got a bit of a burn mark there, doesn't he? So let's whip this out. So out of 30 donor boards, I have one of them, and it's on this 4-channel NVR. So luckily, we don't have to buy some. going to whip this guy off here. We'll have to cover up this plastic here so we don't melt it. I'll show you my little trick. Nozzles off the old rework station or hot air station. Perfect. That'll do the job. Ready? Plastic check. Tweezers off. There we go. Look at that. Good as new. Same with this. No plastic melted. Works a lot of the time, but not all the time. Sometimes you will melt some shit because some boards are just awkward, like this one. Big capacitor there, UART port there, hard drive power port there, SATA port there, and then we've got to try and get in there to get that little bloody breadcrumb out of there with even smaller breadcrumbs, and we can't even use these there actually because they're going to cover up. Look, it's not even fitting over that because the UART port's in the way, so I mean we can cover that barrel capacitor up, that's sweet. I'm going to foil it up like this. This is going to be really awkward because if I come in with my tweezers like there, I've got nowhere to like rest my hand or my elbow, and you should always like sit your hands or your elbows when you're micro soldering or any soldering, so this could go bad. Yeah, it's just blowing the adhesive foil out of the way, so I'm going to put this little paint scraper here and hopefully that helps. Right, that's him off. That was hard work, that. I'm shaking like a shitting dog. Let's come in with a bit more flux and then we'll try and... I'm not going to go in with the iron and try and change the solder or anything. We'll just use the old factory solder. It's too tiny. It's pretty breadcrumbs. Fucking hell, man, I'm struggling with this. I just need to rest my elbows so my hands can be steady. So we're going to reset, get that capacitor back in place, and we'll go in again so we don't just smash everything everywhere. Like I'm really like, you know, like when you try and write and you can't put your arm down, your handwriting isn't as neat. That's what it's like. Right, that's in back in place. Let's try and do this again now. If I could just put my elbows down and my hands down. That's why they have them little tools that you can pull up your arm on. It's just the length of this board and everything in the way. I'll burn my arm if I try and rest. Wow, that was hard work. That would be a piece of piss if I could use my arms. Plastic, ooh, Jesus Christ. Steve would be proud of that one, wouldn't he? I'll just replace that. I've got loads of them. So, the little breadcrumb capacitor that's come off here, I found it stuck on the paint scraper. And I thought, because it's so small, I'll test what my credit is in case I lose it. And turns out, it's bloody shorted. What are the odds of that? Like, it just fixed itself. Just took it off itself. The problem is with that is I don't know what rating this is or what he does, because there's no, like, you can't get schematics for Hikvision, and if you message them, you know, they just tell you like a finger your arse or whatever. Like, they're no they're no use. So I think I'm going to replace the SATA power port. I've took it off there, and I'm hoping it's just like a spare filter capacitor or something like that, you know, something that's not important. You know, you see it all the time where there'll be a capacitor on. In fact, I had a video recently where a capacitor took itself off. I definitely didn't rip it off by accident, and the board worked completely fine. I still replaced it because I had a spare one, and it was shorted. So you know, we'll have to plug this one in and just see if it works. So we'll get that port banged back on, just like that. Lovely. We'll give it a little clean up, some IPA and an earbud or a swab, whatever you want to call it. Shut your face, multimeter. Forgot to turn that off. It's bleeping at me. what we'll do is we'll plug her in, got the thermal camera ready just in case, just to monitor anything, safety first, and hopefully it works. Well, our transistor's not getting hot anymore, lovely, and nothing looks out of the ordinary so far. All the usual suspects get hot, all your video chips, your network chips, stuff like that. You say get hot just because the board's cold. 30, 40 degrees isn't hot, is it really? Yeah, basically body temperature. Nice, there's our firmware beep, so the box is booted. We'll get the HDMI and all that good stuff plugged in and see if it works. HDMI is in, like that. And again, we're getting a... see how the lights lit up? On this, if the monitor's not connected with HDMI, it'll say like turning off in 3 minutes or whatever. So we'll try the VGA and get in. Lovely. But we do still have a password. And there's no pattern on it, so we can't try that. Kind of ironic. It says, please respect others people's privacy. Funny that coming from Hikvision. What we'll do is we'll try my next door neighbour's cat's name, Jeff. See if that works. It's not his name, I just named him that. Network is connected. We've got SADP, whatever it's called, on here. That's our box. What we can do is we can click this. We can try a forgot password. So now we need to select code mode and we'll extract the code file. Go onto the Hikvision website, grab their support email for whatever region you're in, then you get the file, send it to him, say, listen here laddie, change this password for me so I can get in my wee box. I'm impatient and I can't be asked waiting for them to reply, so I thought I'll try this. So bear with me. See these firmware chips? They're the same on different NVRs. I thought, got this one here. What if I whip the firmware chip off this and put it on the other one? It would then have a different U-boot, but it would brick the box. But I could access the U-boot and then re-flash it, put the right firmware on, the right U-boot onto this one. Bob is your auntie. Catch my drift? It should then allow me to fix it because it'd be a different version U-boot that I can talk to. So worth a go for a bit of fun. I suppose it's only going to take, a couple minutes. It's not quite straight, so I'll show you the power of flux. Do some flux magic. Watch it magically flow in place. Ooh, that was satisfying, I know. You like that one, don't you? You're very welcome. Right, we're plugged in, on putty, got the programmer in, all sweet. We'll power on and see if theory is right or wrong. Powering on, what do we get? It's turned into a microwave. Damn girl, are you a microwave? Cause well, that's not worked, has it? I'm guessing the baseline on these is like version 5 and I've tried to put a version 4 chip on and it's just not having it, so we'll have to replace that again. Well, not replace it, we'll have to put it back, aren't we? It was worth a test. And who tells the microwave to sit anyway? Right, we are back to where we were. Everything's sweet. I've taken the button off because I can use that elsewhere, as you see down there, because obviously it didn't work. That was just a weather test. As you can see on the old monitor over here, like it's booted up normal. And we do indeed still have a password, so we'll wait for Hikvision to get back and see what they say. If we right click, you can actually access, all the menu thing, but you can't really get into it because you need to remove the password. So we will get in there eventually, even if it takes a sledgehammer. You have mail. Hikvision emailed. Please be aware, the file I sent back may not work if you've done the following. Shut down the SADP tool. Definitely didn't do that, did we, guys? Since we generated that file. We'll try it anyway. So this is what they sent us. We'll try that. See if it resets. So we got it on the computer here. We'll go into SADP in here, and we need to select the file. Yep, on here. There we go. And then we can put in a super secure password. Everyone knows Jeff is a great password. So it's actually, this password I'm about to use, it's actually what Jeff Bezos himself uses. So don't tell anyone that. Jeff 222 exclamation mark. That should do the job. And then we have to repeat it here. I said we have to repeat it here. Ah, bummer. I barely even know her. Just in one video. Gotcha. We're gonna have to do it again, aren't we? We'll send them the file, and but I'm not listening to this scream at me every 30 seconds, so I'm gonna desolder that one, that alarm, and then we'll send it to them. There we go, bosh. And then we'll get the reset and we'll try again. You have mail. They sent me the code and the file, so I'll just shut the file in. Try that again. There we go. Here's our file. NVR is powered on. I'll show you. Still got the password there. Over on the old PC, there's our file again. We're going to chuck it into SADP again, and we're going to put the most secure password in. You already remember it. So, you've gone and changed your password to it. I already know.
Hello, Glove.
Now we're on the old monitor, we can type in Jeff 222 exclamation mark or exclamation point. Is that what Americans use? Pretty sure. And then we can test what does and doesn't work to see what that capacitor does. Nothing's getting hot, nothing's malfunctioning. So if the box works, then my dad's got a box. You can put new cameras on. Everyone's a winner. And we are indeed in sunny Jim. Look at that. Lovely. Get in. Now all we need to do is, we can do a little factory reset, see if we can get the HDMI port working, because I'm guessing resolution's too high. Currently running it through the VGA, aren't we? So we'll do a factory reset, set it back to default, switch to the HDMI port, and see what we're cooking with. So reset, HDMI is in, and what we're going to get in, lovely, look at that, sweet as, that's happened to me before, that's how I knew, so, I'm not going to pretend. Anyway, the resolution, especially with this monitor, it's a bit of a shit monitor. So we plugged the network in, we already know the network worked actually, because we SADP worked, so we'll just test these camera ports, and put an hard drive in, see if that works, and if it does, everything's sweet. Network camera is plugged in, flashing away like your mum. Sweet as. We can go in here. We've also got the hard drive plugged in, so what we'll do is we'll see if it's recording, and we know that we've not got a problem with the hard drive side. There we go, we've got a bit of recording there. It's just facing a bottle on the side, so and now it's on a tea towel. We can also go into the actual hard drive itself, and we can see the capacity and that it's initialized. There we go, status, sweet as. Double, triple check with the thermal camera, just to make sure everything's sweet. Now it's got like a camera on, you know, it's got a bit of load, camera on it, hard drive on it, and all the usual suspects getting hot, but not an absolute problem. So, you know, I wonder what the capacitor actually did. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And don't forget to leave a like. And what else do you do with this box? No schematic, everything seems sweet, so we just crack on from there, don't we? Port 2, flashing away. Connects beautiful. Port 3, lovely. 4, lovely. 5, sweet as. 6, you know the script. 7, of course. Number 7, sweet as. Lucky 7. And number 8, we got a full house. Get in. And the box isn't binded in the platform access, so again, yeah, we've got a perfect working box, minus a capacitor. So if you like the video, let me know what you think. Give me a thumbs up, give me a like, give me a comment, and I will, you know, other than a few scratches and a few dents, it's good as second hand. You can't complain, can you? Drop me a thumbs up, and I'll catch you in the next one. Ta-ra!